They say that objects cared for with love eventually cradle souls within them. But what fate befalls the things we discard? What kind of spirits take root in the refuse we so easily cast aside? That unsettling thought marks the beginning of this story. It starts with a little girl, her face clouded with sorrow as she gazes down at her torn stuffed animal, a once beloved companion, now frayed and broken. Her mother, seeing nothing but a ragged, unsightly thing, decides it isn't worth saving. Why mend what can be replaced? She tosses it into a bag of trash and makes her way to the garbage depot near their home, dropping the bundle into the underground waste shaft without a second glance. But from the shadows, a hooded figure silently observes. In this world, it takes very little for something or someone to be labeled as garbage. The same cold indifference shown to broken objects is far too often reserved for people as well. As the mother walks away, the silent figure turns and descends into the underground, following the path of the discarded. In the shadows of this polished city, there's a name whispered with contempt: the dump thief. A hooded figure branded a menace, accused of stealing trash and sullying the spotless streets. To the city's officials, he's a criminal threat to their carefully curated image. One night, a lone guard catches sight of the shadowy intruder and slams the alarm. Within moments, reinforcements flood in, weapons drawn. But the thief is fast. He throws bags of refuse at the guards, creating precious seconds to flee. Bullets tear through the air as the chase spills through the underground, but the mysterious figure moves like something untouchable, weaving, leaping, and twisting through gunfire as if fate itself refused to claim him. A bullet grazes his side, but still he vanishes into the rancid sewers. Up on the surface, the fugitive curses under his breath. A thief? That word burns more than the wound. He never saw himself that way. By morning, gossip spreads like wildfire. In the bustling town square, two women chatter about the dump thief's latest stunt. One mutters darkly that only a tribal could be behind such disgrace. The other quickly hushes her when she notices a tribal man within earshot. As soon as he walks off, they sneer their disdain, wishing people like him would stay far from their pristine district. The man, Rudo, walks wordlessly through the spotless streets until the scenery shifts. The slums, a land of decay and desperation, fenced off by a towering, oppressive wall. In this forgotten corner of the world, houses rot, the air stinks, and the desperate shuffle through the streets like shadows. Even here, rumors of the dump thief stir unease. Whispers grow that the apostles, the city's ruthless enforcers, will descend upon them before long. In a cluttered shack, a young scavenger named Rudo pieces together broken relics salvaged from the garbage heaps. His friend, Chiwa, storms in, furious. She scolds him yet again for meddling where he shouldn't. Everyone knows how merciless the city's garbage laws are, and what happens to those who cross them. She doesn't understand why he keeps risking his life for discarded junk, but Rudo does. The rich throw away perfectly good things without a second thought, and something about that gnaws at him. He can't turn away. Besides, it's how he survives. Chiwa teases that maybe he just loves trash. Before Rudo can argue, a gang of hostile kids appears, led by a sneering boy eager to mock him. They insult his smell, his ragged gloves, his filthy scavenger's lamp. One kicks over his work, while another warns Chiwa she'll stink just by standing near him. But the insults turn darker. They sneer about his bloodline, calling him the son of a murderer. They remind everyone how this slum fought to escape its shameful past, until Rudo's father slaughtered innocents and dragged them all back into disgrace. At that, Rudo's eyes burn with fury. His glare alone sends a chill through the ringleader, who stammers and labels him a criminal in the making. The bullies retreat, rattled but smug, warning that one day Rudo will be just like his old man. When they're gone, Chiwa comforts him. She swears she knows who he truly is, a good heart, not a killer. Her attention drifts to a stuffed animal Rudo salvaged from the dump. She lights up with delight. Rudo wants to give it to her, but his voice catches in his throat. Before he can summon the courage, Chiwa's mother calls her away. Another warning to stay clear of him. Rudo hates himself for hesitating, for always being too late. Later, Rudo crosses paths with Rudo, the tribal man humiliated earlier in the city square. Reto grins knowingly, teasing about Rudo's failed gift-giving attempt. Embarrassed and defensive, Rudo protests, until Reto's face turns serious. He demands to know what happened during last night's dangerous run. Reto warns him, one mistake and it's over. The city won't forgive. They don't care how young he is. Rudo insists he's careful, that he's never been caught. But the older man knows better. It doesn't matter. Danger finds everyone eventually. Blood relation or not, Reto sees Rudo as family. He saved the boy from abandonment when no one else would. Rudo knows this, feels the weight of that bond. And yet, the fire in his heart, that reckless need to defy a world that throws away everything and everyone it deems worthless, keeps pulling him back to the trash heaps, where the city discards its secrets and where something monstrous waits beneath the filth. Rudo owed Reto a debt no words could repay. The old man had given him shelter, a family, and a reason to keep breathing when no one else would. And tonight, as Reto playfully teased him about Chiwa, claiming the girl was bound to fall for him if he could just be honest for once, Rudo nearly fumbled the lantern in his hands, face flushed. But Reto's grin quickly faded the moment he noticed the blood seeping from a fresh bullet graze on the boy's arm. Without a word, Reto sat him down, peeling away the worn gloves Rudo never removed. The gloves that once masked the blackened, scarred hands cursed with pain since childhood, wounds so monstrous they earned him looks of disgust long before anyone knew his name. It was Reto who had given him those gloves years ago, when the boy's mind teetered on the edge. Somehow, with them, the pain lessened, or at least became bearable. As Reto cleaned and bandaged the wound, he pleaded with Rudo one last time. Stop going to the dump. Stop risking everything for a world that doesn't care if you live or die. But Rudo, stubborn as ever, shrugged it off. Compared to the scars his father left on his hands and on his life, this was nothing. The conversation turned somber as Reto reminded him of the city's brutal justice. Commit a serious crime, and you're cast into the abyss. That's where Rudo's father had been thrown, and it was where anyone deemed filth was destined to rot. Reto's voice softened as he urged the boy not to meet the same fate. Trying to lift the mood, Reto teased him again. If Rudo didn't move fast, someone else would steal Chiwa's heart. Maybe it was time to give her the stuffed bunny he'd salvaged, maybe even steal a kiss while he was at it. Rudo's angry protests echoed through the shack, though his face betrayed his flustered nerves. Neither of them noticed the shadow lingering just beyond their door. Reto tried one last trick. He told Rudo to fake a smile, to pretend, to act. If people wouldn't accept the boy he was, then let them believe in the person he pretended to be. But Rudo doubted anyone would see past his crimson eyes, eyes that stirred fear, not sympathy. As Rudo wandered the slums, the abyss itself loomed in his thoughts, a bottomless pit where both garbage and condemned souls were discarded. His path crossed a mob of jeering onlookers, gathered as another unfortunate soul was sentenced. Into the abyss with the filth, they chanted, the same words once spat at his father. Chiwa startled him from his thoughts. She reminded him that life in the ghetto came with this constant threat. Sooner or later, you'd see someone thrown away like trash. And she didn't want Rudo to be next. She told him that Reto cared about him, and so did she. That single two hung between them, and Rudo, flustered, dared to hope it meant more. The awkward tension broke when Chiwa spotted the stuffed bunny in his hands. Trapped, Rudo handed it to her, saying it would be happier with her than rotting in the dump. She lit up, clutching it close. Overwhelmed, Rudo bolted, eager to tell Reto what had just happened. When Rudo burst through the door, he expected a lecture, not blood, not the sight of Reto's body collapsing under a hooded killer's blade. Panicked, Rudo charged, but the stranger struck him down easily. As the boy lay battered, Reto, with his final breath, told his adopted son to run, to live, and change this rotten world. But there was no escape. A squad of apostles stormed the house, their weapons drawn. Rudo's protests fell on deaf ears. The blame was pinned on him. Murderer. Filth. Like father, like son. The crowd gathered outside, eyes gleaming with vindication as the apostles beat him down. His neighbors murmured, confirming what they'd long suspected. Even Chiwa, her gaze clouded with betrayal, Dragged to the city's edge, accused of murder, branded the infamous trash thief, Rudo stood before the abyss. The judge's voice rang out, robes gleaming in false sanctity, declaring the sentence, "All filth must be swallowed by the abyss." The crowd screamed. Rudo's heart cracked. He searched for a single kind face, but all he saw were eyes filled with hate. Even Chiwa averted her gaze, discarding the stuffed bunny he gave her like it was poison. In a final cruel blow, she muttered, "Like father, like son," and walked away. But then, in the crowd, Rudo saw him, the killer. Rage surged through him, but before he could act, strong hands shoved him into the abyss. As he fell, his mind splintered, hatred rising like a storm. He swore revenge on them all, this blind, heartless city, its soulless mob, and its false justice. He would drag every last one of them into the depths of hell. Darkness swallowed him, and when he finally opened his eyes, Rudo lay atop a mountain of rotting trash in a world made entirely of refuse, a vast, endless wasteland of decay. The stench choked him, and then something vast moved. A monstrous, grotesque figure born of filth loomed over him, and in that moment, Rudo realized this was hell. Don't forget to check out more videos, like, share, and subscribe.